Thank you for joining me on Ava, Innovate with Authenticity. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share it with someone who would find it valuable. And don't forget to check out the iAva AI Coach app on iava.ai. It's free to try, built on neuroscience, and powered by solution-focused coaching. With just 5 minutes a day, it's designed to help leaders and teams grow with clarity and confidence. Generative AI is no longer a future trend. It is a present-day imperative. According to Accenture's Technology Vision 2023, 98% of executives believe AI foundation models will play a critical role in their strategies within the next 3 to 5 years. McKinsey reports that nearly 80% of professionals have already experimented with generative AI. And Gartner predicts that by 2026, more than 80% of enterprises will have generative AI in production, up from less than 5% in 2023. Yet PwC finds that more than half of companies are still scrambling to upskill their people. The message is clear. Implementation is not just about systems. It is about people, culture, and leadership. In my day work, I partner with leaders and teams to bring the human touch back into the high-tech world. Because no matter how advanced our tools become, we are all human. We deliver better results when we bond, build trust, and foster a sense of psychological safety. That is the foundation for innovation. Whether I am coaching leaders and teams to unlock their potential or rolling up my sleeves to partner on end-to-end platform and process improvement, my approach is the same. I bring curiosity and compassion into the room. One of my favorite moments came when an enterprise leader I had been coaching told me, "Ava, you would be so proud of me. I went down to meet with the engineering team today, and instead of diving straight into the project plan, I asked them how they were feeling, and they shared their feelings with me. That simple act, asking, listening, and holding space, unlocked a new level of connection. It wasn't about metrics or milestones. It was about creating a safe environment, and that is precisely what curiosity and compassion look like in practice. Curiosity fuels innovation. It drives IT teams to ask better questions, test integrations, and uncover efficiencies that traditional approaches overlook. Compassion builds trust. It ensures that employees feel supported during transitions, thereby reducing resistance and fostering a sense of psychological safety. Together, they transform IT implementation from a technical rollout into a cultural shift where people feel safe to learn, experiment, and grow. For HR leaders, this means embedding AI into corporate training programs that don't just teach tools, but also foster resilience and inclusivity. For heads of product and engineering, it means designing AI strategies that scale without losing sight of the human beings who will use, adapt, and extend them. A powerful example comes from Jasmine Robinson, Senior Technical Program Manager at Netflix. Jasmine's journey from community college and academia into leading AI initiatives at one of the world's most innovative companies is a case study in resilience and reinvention. She openly shares how tools like GitHub Copilot elevated her productivity, making her feel like she could perform at a higher engineering level. But what makes her story resonate for executives is not just the technology, it is her leadership.
Good evening, Jasmine. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm super excited to have you in the show. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for watching iAva.ai, Innovate with Authenticity. So today we have Jasmine Robinson, and I am super excited to introduce Jasmine. She is a Senior Technical Program Manager at Netflix, who is reshaping the landscape of Gen AI and developer productivity. With her innovative approach to problem solving and her commitments to empowering teams, Jasmine has become a key driver of strategic initiatives at one of the world's leading tech companies. So beyond her role at Netflix, Jasmine is the creative force behind Gen Ai's Secret Source, a free resource where she shares her unique insights and practical tips for unlocking superpowers at work, Her passion for technology, lifelong learning, and mentorship continues to inspire countless of professionals across the industry. So please join me to welcome Jasmine Robinson.
Oh my goodness. I need you to introduce me at every meeting. That was wonderful. Thank you.
That'll be great. I would love that. So, how are you this evening, Jasmine?
I'm doing great. Hopefully, you can't hear my dog snoring, but if you can, I'm sorry. He's down by my feet at the moment. I'm connecting from home.
Oh, fantastic. Not at all. Home sweet home. So, for the first question, Jasmine, I would love if you could share a story behind your journey into tech and what first sparked your passion for Gen AI and innovation.
Ooh, so my journey into tech began as a child. My dad was a programmer. So he taught me how to program. It started with my, I think, TI 82 or 86 calculator back in the day. And then I started building my own websites. I ended up going to community college because at the time I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I told everyone I wanted to be a zoobiochemophysicist who works for the CIA, which was my answer for I don't know. So again, I ended up going to a community college to try to discover what it is that I was meant to do. And I fell in love with digital media design and multimedia and web application development. I ended up staying there and working my way up to becoming a director of web services, which was amazing. But after a while, I was like, what else is there for me in this world? I could become a chief technology officer in the public sector for community colleges, or I could apply somewhere else and see what else was available. I saw that there was a position open at Netflix for developer education. And I was like, this is perfect. Like, I already work in academia, I work in education, I support all of our academic web services. And it's also on the developer engineering side. And I was under technology services at that time. Ended up applying, ended up getting the role, and I've been here for 5.5 years. But I got into generative AI probably about 2.5 years ago when I think a lot of us got into generative AI when ChatGPT like 3.5 first came out. And I will admit that I was apprehensive. I thought, oh, great, like another bot. Like the last thing I want is to talk to another automated system when really I just want to talk to a human. But once I took the time, I was sold. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. And then I started playing with GitHub Copilot, and it helped me create applications. Like I feel like on paper, I'm probably only a level 5 engineer, but with Copilot, I'm at least like level 5, level 6 on a good day. So I am a huge advocate of generative AI and the ability for it to enhance your productivity.
That is such a fantastic background, Jasmine. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I so appreciate that your love for even mentoring and for education, for teaching others, even started back then, and you just leverage it to get into tech. So what a great way to get into tech. So, for you listening, if you're in education, there's always space for you in tech as well. So, how did your experience in academia shape your approach when you transition to leading strategic initiatives at Netflix, especially in the fast evolving world of Gen AI?
Oh, okay. I have a whole talk actually that I should have pulled my notes from on what it takes to move from the public sector to the private sector and all those gotcha moments that I experienced. I would love to share those at another time when I can prepare you with all the notes that I have. But I would say some of the key things are going to the private sector. The vocabulary is very different than the public sector. So there were a lot of things that I was hearing for the first time. It doesn't mean that I wasn't capable of being successful because obviously I've been here for a while and really enjoyed it and I've been thriving. It's just almost like learning a new language, especially in the academia area. Even job titles. In academia, there were no technical program managers, there were no product managers. So having to relearn all of these positions, I would say that it was definitely beneficial for me to get hired right before COVID. And then I was able to, I feel like, play catch up for a few months while everyone was home. And I tried to squeeze in, I don't know, 15 years worth of experience into 15 months of when I was working remotely from home, um, using every opportunity I could to, I don't know, to gain the knowledge I needed to catch up to my peers who had been in the private sector since graduating college, which wasn't me.
Well, I definitely see how you transfer your knowledge, and I see the resilience. You took the opportunities. COVID is, COVID does so much for each of us, and it changed the entire working landscape. And for a lot of us, it's stressful, but for many other of us, like you really use that opportunities to learn and to pivot, and to make it applicable to the private sector. So kudos to you, Jasmine. That is such a wonderful share. So that's make
I,
me, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to share too for your listeners that that feeling of I'm not good enough, like I would never survive in the private sector. I want to help you overcome that as well because you are additive. Your experiences will add value to the private sector. You're a different voice in the conversation. You have different experiences and you come from a different lens. And it really, at the end of the day, makes you almost a more valuable contributor than everyone else who'd just been doing the same thing for 15 years. You have a better perspective that is valuable.
That's literally give me goosebumps, Jasmine. First of all, that's because how the spirit of mentoring, the spirit of sharing, and the
Mhm.
spirit of just really want good to others show up in you. But also, this is totally not a promotion, but that's definitely related to my TEDx talk about, we need different voices, and different
Mhm.
voices is not just about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but it's really about inclusivity. It's about business imperative. It is about innovation, and it's about having different voices, reducing risk, and it's really bringing out the best innovation there is. So definitely, please take Jasmine's word at heart. There is a lot of wisdom in it. So um, that's lead me to ask you these questions. You're known as an eternal optimist. Can you talk about a challenging moment in your career where your optimism helped transform a difficult situation into an opportunity?
Oh my gosh. Um,
No pressure, not
I
putting you
I
on the spot at
know.
all.
Um, I have a couple of examples. I will start with the most recent example in that I had a conversation about my growth within the company and my compensation, and I had never advocated for myself before. Um, I don't know if anyone has read the book How Women Rise, and it uh, includes a list of bad habits that women tend to have, and I am guilty of all of them. And one of those is assuming that my work was going to speak for itself and just not asking for anything, just being grateful for what I had. So I ended up hiring a career coach, and it was actually incredibly beneficial for me. I kind of felt like I didn't need a career coach for most of my career because I was like, you know what? I know exactly what I need to do. I don't need someone to tell me what I need to do. But what I realized that a career coach also does is it holds you accountable because a lot of times you put yourself last. You put your priorities last. You are always trying to bend over backwards for everyone else and accommodating them. And it's nice to have that voice, that person who's like, you know what, Jasmine, you should really reevaluate what you're doing. You need to put your mask on first before helping others. And I put together a whole list of resolutions for this year, and I've just been knocking them out. And every 2 weeks, I talk to my career coach, and I'm like, okay, this is the progress that I've made, knowing that it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's about taking those baby steps forward. So
Yeah.
definitely recommend career coaches. Another time in my life, which was a very difficult situation, is I was a manager of a wonderful team, and one of my employees unfortunately passed away.
Mhm.
And it was very difficult because he didn't really have anyone else in his life that could deal with all the arrangements, I guess. And I was the one who had to make the call because he wasn't coming into work, to have someone go to his apartment and check on him. And I knew too that he was planning on retiring in a couple months. And he had these big dreams about what he wanted to do when he retired. Like, in his apartment, he couldn't have a cat, and he really wanted a cat. And I wanted that for him so badly. And he had worked really hard in the public sector for a long time because he wanted that retirement. He wanted to be able to, be comfortable. But that experience made me realize that I was sort of like tied to this idea of having a pension and a retirement, and who knows if I'm going to live long enough to
Mhm.
enjoy that, and that I should take more risks in my life and not wait for, I don't know, for things to happen to me. I need to make things happen. And so I think about him a lot, and I am thankful for what he taught me, and that at the end of the day, we need to live our best lives.
Yeah. Whew. If you're listening, just, I mean, if you're not officially Jasmine's fan yet, you
Oh.
probably will be now. I mean, that's just another goosebump moment for me, Jasmine. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's so much nuggets in what you're sharing. First of all, along the line of the theme, like, don't wait, even if you feel you're an expert, invest in yourself. A lot of us, like women, who were thinking the work will speak for itself. A lot of
Mhm.
time in the working world, we need to have a voice, and you did exactly that. You amplifying that voice, and that is such a great model for other successful women. And that's what I do on the day-to-day basis too. I coach leaders, and these are exceptional, smart, very self-aware leader, but everyone need a coach. Bill Gates need a coach. We all need a
Mhm.
coach. So that is a smart way to accelerate yourself as well. I've seen that in a lot of my leader comes to me and they said, I would have never thought about this in a million years, Ava. And I thought so much about what even you were talking when you're not there. So that's definitely one part of it. And the second part, my goodness, Jasmine, I definitely feel like the sense of compassion. How did you develop the sense of compassion? Not just that you learned from your teammate, but your teammate was so lucky to have you as well. I hope you realize that, at the end of his life, and he had someone who think about his wish, who actually, be there for him, even no one there else was there. So that is definitely, I would love to take a moment to really appreciate you for who you are, Jasmine.
Well, I want to say too, like, the public sector was very different in that we were all family. At least I felt
Mhm.
like we were family. I treated my team like my family. I knew their children. I I knew, like, I threw baby showers for people. Went to each other's weddings. Like, it's almost like we all grew up together, which was nice too. I will say in the private sector that depending on where you choose to work, sometimes the mentality is very much that you're not family, that you're a dream team. And that has, I will say, continues to be difficult for me because I think that's one of the traits about myself that I do value, is that I will forever treat my stunning colleagues like my family. And as they graduate onto bigger and better things, I like to keep in touch. I like to send them Christmas cards. And I know that I'm an outlier in the corporate sector for that.
Yeah, you're definitely the top 1% who talk about compassion, and that's make the space today is even more intimate. Thank you, Jasmine, for sharing that. Uh, but doing the work you do, even if you're not fully expanding that compassion anywhere you go, there's situation based, right? Just like you say. But that attributes, that value is really helping your team that you're helping now. I can't even imagine. There's so many things I want to say about this, but the thing is, one thing I know for sure, sometime in a public sector or even when we're going to paint together, that's where we bond, right? Like, and it sounds
Mm-hmm.
like your team were able to find that comfort that you were able to give it to them. And they were able to bond. And sometimes that's where productivity, that's where innovation come about. And that's where this show is all about. It's about innovated with authenticity. When we show ourselves in the best way, who we are, really live to who we are, like, we create innovation. So thank you, Jasmine.
So are you saying that we become more innovative as we trauma bond?
Well, that is a good question. So that is definitely, I have to invite you back for another topic.
Okay.
uh, oh boys.
I know.
But here's the question for you, Jasmine. So, as
Mhm.
a mentor and a leader, how do you foster an environment where your team feels empowered to learn, innovate, and push the boundaries of what's possible, even in the private sector?
Um, so I should first say that I'm an independent contributor at the moment, so I do not manage a team, nor do I think I would ever want to manage a team at Netflix because I could never fire anyone. I would always feel like, "Oh, we will find something. We will fill those gaps in your skills, so that you can continue to contribute." So that is a weak spot of mine. But as far as helping my team, I don't know, reach their highest potential, what I like to do is for Gen AI, we have a Gen AI Builders Knowledge Series that meets monthly. And I really like to spotlight what people are doing with generative AI. And I want to not only spotlight what they're creating, but their selfless contributions to share openly and broadly, and just to make them an example of a stunning colleague that we should all model. And I think sometimes in the corporate sector, you don't always get the positive feedback and reinforcement that you really want and deserve. So, what I try to do is encourage all the positive behaviors that I hope people follow as far as sharing information with their teams. Does that make sense?
I mean, that's beautiful, Jasmine, and here's
Mhm.
why. I wonder if you would be open for me to share my thoughts here.
Oh,
So
please.
I wonder if you're hard on yourself because even if you're not directly managing them, but
Mhm.
you're being a transformational and servant leader for your team, those are the things that I feel like in my line of work, it counts so many times where, the team came to me at the end of 9 months, they start to talk about their feelings. And it's not
Mhm.
because they're talking with their direct manager, but they're feeling it. And these are engineer teams who never used to talk about feelings, right? And then, even enterprise coaches, I coached the coach and they said, Ava, you would be so proud of me because today I start to even came right down to my teams, ask them, and they share with me their feelings too. So those are the things you are celebrating wins. You are giving the space for each person to shine. And that is definitely an important part, building that culture of innovation. So
Thank you.
maybe, yeah. So I think there's a lot of great in you that you may not even realize that. Um, So let's talk about women defining AI. So
Okay.
you're an active member of Women Defining AI. How has this community influenced your personal and professional growth? And what message do you have for women aspiring to make their mark in AI?
Okay. So It's February 20th. I would say I've been an active member since January 1st because that's when I set my New Year's resolution that I was going to be more active in these communities. So in the 6 weeks or 7 weeks that I have been actively contributing, I am blown away by just how selfless these women are in sharing their experiences and their resources and their learnings, and just how supportive this community is. Um, I've been a member of a lot of Slack communities that they tend to fizzle out sometimes because there's just not enough engagement. And I really like in this community that there is engagement and they're all like trying to build each other up and coach each other through the issues that they may be experiencing and sharing best practices in AI. So I cannot say enough glowing, wonderful things about the community. It is $10 a month to join, but they're paying for the, I don't know, the enterprise version of Slack, so you don't lose the history, and that costs money as well.
Yes, so all of us watching women who want to go in AI, there's another venue, and thank you for inspiring me with the community. I am excited also joining the community. So looking ahead, what
I mean,
lesson learned?
we
Yeah.
should mention too how you and I met through a community, and this
Yes.
was through Nate B. Jones.
Yes,
I was a huge
exactly.
I was a huge fan of him on TikTok, so I signed up for his Maven course. How did you find out about him?
I just, on that day, I just happened to listening to one of those lightning talk, and the
Oh,
way
wow.
Nate talk, I was like, he got it. He he
Uh-huh.
he he really speak it, as he really speaking to each of us, and how he is very um compassionate, but he's also keeping us accountable in learning and not letting us off the hook with the AI journeys. And for me, um, running a business and also having so many different kind of responsibilities, carving out time to continuous uh, to learn continuously is the struggle. But I know that, in 2 weeks we're gonna meet and, I'd love to showcase something. And even then, the conversation we had, like the after party really changed
Mhm.
my life with you, Jasmine. So
Oh, wow.
I just love how I'm surrounded by really awesome people like Nate, like you. So, uh, yeah, I mean, there's definitely something about community driven, like, how we share from head to head or from heart to heart, right? Even when we're talking about AI, is very different from just what AI is trying to do. I can see sometime when AI is trying to be more compassionate when I ask questions and so on and so forth, but it can never replace, even just by us over Zoom, that I feel the energy, Jasmine. So thank you for bringing that part. So looking ahead, like what lesson learned or what takeaway um, you hope to tell our listeners in terms of AI, Gen AI, and technology, even leadership, compassion, and also this is two-part questions. And how do you envision the future of technology impacting everyday life?
Oh, wow. Okay, that is a lot of loaded question there. So takeaways for people that are listening to this podcast. So first, thanks for listening to me. Second, I would say if you're in the public sector, don't be afraid to apply. I will say right now, as we are getting a lot of applications and the tech sector is kind of saturated due to all of the layoffs, everyone has a perfect resume because it's all written by ChatGPT. So it's really important that you showcase your skill sets in other ways. So having a portfolio, having an AI project that you created, that you built, that you could demo. Um, so depending on where you want to move into, it's not enough just to have it in a resume now. Like you really need to figure out and build your brand. I think that's important too.
Mhm.
As far as where I think we're going to be going, I have a lot of thoughts. I think that we are very early on in our generative AI journeys. I've I don't know if Nate was the one that said this, where like if you look back in time at like the dot-com boom or like the Silicon Valley, and you look at like Amazon, where Amazon was in 1999 is like where we are today with generative AI. And I don't know about you, but like I kick myself so often about like, oh, like if only I had invested in Amazon, if only I had bought Bitcoin, if only like all of
Yeah.
these things. And I'm like, okay, I'm finally here in this moment. What can I do? What would what 20 years from now, if myself could travel back in time, what would it tell me that I need to invest in or where I need to focus? And I'm positive it's generative AI. But I'm not positive like which companies are going to come out on top at the end of the day.
Mhm.
I do think that NVIDIA is going to continue to be an important player. And there was kind of a sale when their market shares dropped because of DeepSeek. But we're going to continue to need faster processing.
Mhm.
And we're going to continue to invest in that infrastructure. So I think that's important, the hardware. I do think it's going to be transformative as far as how careers change. I think if you think about, I don't know, 30 years ago when we did so much on paper and then we transformed to digital, I think it's going to be similar to that. So for people that used to do data entry manually and that was their job, and then they were out of a job when we started having online forms, I think it's going to be similar to that in the future. So you just need to continue to evolve with the technology and learn how to use the online form builders as opposed to complain that you're being replaced by an online form. Uh,
Yeah.
Same with the chatbot.
Yeah, these are definitely valuable nuggets to think about. And there's so much there. You're right. Like it's hard to know which companies will be on top, but you're right. Like things are moving so fast. It's important to build our skill sets. And even Nvidia, right? Like they originally started out as like a cheap manufacturing with AI, and now they're going into Amazon space where they're starting to do, the cloud computings and vice versa too. So the worlds are moving so fast. Everyone is, the sky is the limit. So I'll continue to evolve ourselves to learn. It's so important. Um, is there anything else you would like to give to our listeners today before we end?
Um, Please check out my website at genaisecretsauce.com. It's a free resource. So one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to work smarter, not harder, and to automate as much as possible. So, as I find ways in which I am automating some of my work, I am sharing the code that I wrote on how to do it, or my shortcuts, or the prompts that I'm using. Because what I'm finding is a lot of people are excited about generative AI, but they don't know how to apply it. And so I feel like I need to model excellence for people. I need to give them examples of where it was directly beneficial for me, and then they can apply it to their lives as well.
Oh, fantastic, Jasmine. What a great resource. And I subscribed myself also, so
Yay!
I'm really excited. If audience wanted to look for you and find you, where do they find you?
Well, they can find me on the genaisecretsauce.com website. I'm also on LinkedIn, so feel free to reach out and connect to me. I am trying to be more active in all of my communities and networks, so bear with me because I also, thanks to my career coach, got a promotion. So I
Oh,
am starting a new role next week, which is really exciting, and
congratulations.
which means
Can you
oh,
share if appropriate?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm still going to be a senior technical program manager. I'm just moving out of developer enablement and focusing more on infrastructure for generative AI. So I would say it's more of a traditional TPM role and less focused on education.
How amazing. Thank you so much today for sharing, Jasmine. If you wanted to connect with Jasmine, go to her website, genaisecretsauce.com, or connect with her on LinkedIn. And for that, thank you for tuning in for iava.ai, Innovate with Authenticity, and see you next time.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.